Hello and welcome to another TP's Diary video. Finally, the time's come to start the conversion of my lovely 1977 Jaguar XJ6 V12. I have been waiting for a few components to arrive. I've just taken delivery of an original pedal box for the car. So that was the last component that I was sort of waiting for. So yes, I'm very excited about this. I can't wait to see what this car is going to be like with a manual in it. I know I've had lots of comments about potentially putting a 6-speed manual in it or an automatic in the car, and I've been reluctant to entertain that idea because mainly from my research. Now, please again comment. And don't take my word for it, but certainly from my research, anything other than a 5-speed manual, it meant I was going to have to cut that transmission tunnel, which I really didn't want to do. When I show you around underneath this car, you'll see that it's absolutely mint. I mean, it is immaculate. This car has had a nut and bolt rebuild, and the whole bodywork has been done, and it is absolutely perfect underneath. So the thought of actually having to cut that transmission tunnel just filled me with horror. So I wasn't going to do that. So I'm going to record these videos sort of on a daily basis. So this is day one. I'm waiting for a couple of my mates to turn up to help me remove the bonnet. I think that's going to be easier while I do this conversion. So yes, so I'm waiting for the motley crew to turn up. So the plan for today really is to try and get the full exhaust system right up to the manifolds off today. And that involves just removing the air induction system that I've obviously, if you looked at these videos, you would have seen that I've actually modified all of that. So I'm going to remove all of that, which is no big deal really, but I'll show you how I do that. Yeah, and so I think the first thing I need to do is get my overalls on, and then once I've done that, I'll disconnect the battery and wait for my mates to turn up. We'll get this bonnet off. Okay, so the motley crew's turned up now. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this bonnet off. So guys, look, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to just take my permanent white marker, just mark the bolt positions, or the hinge positions, okay? And then what I'd like you to do is you feel inside that headlight, it's like a perfect handhold. Yeah. And then with your other hand, hold it here. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and undo the bolts. Okay. I'm going to leave one bolt in at a time until we end. I've got a bit of foam under the front so it can rest on the foam. Yeah. All right, and once I take all the bolts out and I say ready, I want you to hold this hand still, and then with the hand that's in the headlight, just bring it up slowly. All right, and I'm going to be there as well, helping it out, okay? Yeah. And then we're going to prop it up against the wall over there. Okay. All right? Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so if I can just squeeze in there in a moment. Get it? You all right? I'm just going to... Right. Right, and then do the same thing the other side. We'll come around here for right now for you. Right, so we'll get cloth. Right, guys, so what we're going to do, so you put that one down now.
You right?
Yeah. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going to pull it.
Yeah.
1 second, hold it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that's it.
Right.
Yeah, now just stand them upright and
Yeah.
walk this way. Yeah, huge thanks to Tony and Stu, the Motley crew. They're great guys. They're always on hand to come and give me a hand. Couldn't have got the bonnet off without them. Right, so next step I've got to do is I've got to get these air filter boxes off, which also means the larger throttle bodies will come off. If you want to know why, go back and check out the induction system videos that I did. I need to get them off because I need to get to the top of the exhaust manifold on both sides. I want to get the heat shields, which are covering those, off, and then get to those exhaust manifold studs, because I want to give them a bit of penetrating fluid. And then what we'll do is we'll get the car up in the air. So let's get these boxes off now, and yeah, we'll just start dismantling as we go. Okay, so there are 13 mil, or unless they're yeah, they are. So there's 4 13 mil bolts that run through the throttle body. I did actually use a bit of blue Hylamar when I put them on last time, so they may need to be pried off, and I might have to make a new gasket for one side. And the reason I had to make the gasket was because actually I've, and again, go and have a look at my other videos, but I've had to, I've machined a venturi into the throttle body, which meant the center diameter hole for the throttle body was larger. Okay, on this one, I need to just get that vacuum, that vacuum off. I wonder what size that is. Yeah, let's get this box off and we'll make it a bit easier. Right. Okay. Okay, so now we have the throttle body off. What I now need to do is get this heat shield here off, which will then reveal the exhaust manifold. So I'm just looking at that. It looks like there's 2 bolts, but this one's a bit of a weird size, the one over here. So that looks standard 13 mil. I don't know what size that is. So let's get that off now. I see. So it appears these bolts, that these bolts that run through to hold this heat shield on run straight into the manifold. Maybe you guys can comment on that and tell me whether that's right or not, but that's what it looks like. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, that's pretty bloody tight, that one. And then go and get a bit bigger wrench. Let's get the impact on it. I know, it's not working. Now, what I don't want to do, Christ almighty. I think this is going to snap. Maybe not. Bloody hell. Got it out. Didn't think that would happen. Okay, so other important tasks are lots of these little bags. Mark up where all the bolts go. So, okay, so this should now just slide. Which it does. Okay, so that's the heat shield off. And I do wonder whether or not I'm going to be able to reuse this. Because what I'm facing, and maybe you guys can let me know, is that do I go to the expense of having the exhaust manifold Teflon coated? No, ceramic coated, not Teflon coated, ceramic coated. Or do I just wrap it with the the fiberglass exhaust heat cloth? I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. I've spoken to a few people about it, and the jury is out. And I'm thinking I might reuse this heat shield, just machine myself up a clamp in order to be able to use it. So let's just see how that goes. But what I can see, quite tricky to see all of the exhaust manifold bolts, because there will be, yeah, as I thought, some tucked up right up outside, out of the way. I'm hoping, because this engine's been rebuilt, that those bolts are not going to be massively tight, but let's see. There we go. Bloody hell. That was loose. Will I be as lucky as on the back one? Yep. Okay. That's the first one. This one's going to be slightly trickier. Let's get the front one off. Well, whoever put this together for me has made my life very easy. Because well, I'm hoping the studs on the engine are as loose as these. That one's, it's undoing. It's just a bit awkward. Right, so this should be the last bolt now, and this manifold should be able to come out. Hurrah! That's the back manifold off. And boy, has it fought me. I mean, this one has really fought me. I mean, check out the spanner I had to make in order to get the bolts off underneath. I mean, extraordinary. The problem is you couldn't get your hand up underneath. And there was no way to access this nut from the top. So you had to get up underneath, and you just couldn't get to it because of the starter motor. So I had to come up with this in order to try and get that nut off. Luckily, they weren't too tight. So I really hope the ones on the other side don't give us the same sort of aggravation as this side. But hey ho, that's the way it goes sometimes. I can't help, but I'm just going to try just putting the new one in. Yes, that's going to be superb. Oop. Oh yeah. That makes it worthwhile. I wonder how that guard's going to look if I can reuse that. I know you don't get to see it, but that's really not the point. I wonder if I can. The answer to that is almost positively yes. So what I'm thinking is I could make up a bracket. I could wrap this tubular manifold as opposed to going to the expense of having it ceramic coated. You know, this is a road car after all, so I'm not worried too much about the weight. Then I can make up some brackets that wrap around them to pick up this heat shield, so I can reuse the heat shield. And I would say then I don't run the risk, the heat shield at the bottom's on. I would say that would actually work a treat. So I think I'm going to do that. But anyway, I've now got the driver's side done. Let's move on to the passenger side. Exactly the same process. And then, yeah, and then we'll go from there to strip out the rest of the exhaust system. And I was thinking that it might be, you know, one day for the exhaust might be a bit sort of like, oh, it's going to be, you know, that's not much work, but actually it's turned out to be quite a lot of work. So anyway, let's move on to the passenger side and get that lot off. So there you go. Both manifolds are off now. They did fight me quite a lot. So yeah, bit of a tip. If you think this is gonna take you 5 minutes to do, forget it. It's taken actually quite a long time to get those manifolds off. This side was about 5 hours. This side was a lot quicker. It took me a couple of hours to get that side off. And I was lucky because this engine was rebuilt, you know, a few years back now, but it was rebuilt, and all of those nuts and bolts were fairly loose. I mean, they weren't loose, but they undid fairly easily. So if you've got a stud that's locked up, then you're going to be here for quite, you know, probably days, I would imagine. Anyway. So right, we're going to get the car up in the air now. We're going to get the rest of that exhaust off, and then we just carry on with the dismantling. Got my copper mallet now. Got the silencer out. That was tricky. Oh dear. So yeah, while I've got you under here and I'm scooting around, I might as well show you what the underside of this car looks like. Okay, so we start at the back here. You can see the sort of condition of the boot is absolutely mint. I mean, like I say, this car, it had a lot of money spent on it in order to get it to this condition. So you've got fully adjustable rear shockers on here, which I'm yet to play with. And obviously you have a look, the sort of the drive shaft and all of the inner workings are absolutely mint. Oh look, there's a bit of paint coming off the bottom of my diff, so I might have to sort that out. But again, you know, absolutely pretty much immaculate. I mean, you know, obviously if you wanted to have a showroom car, it would look a bit better than this, but this is not a showroom car. So then we got our heat shields for those center silencers, which I removed, and then obviously the drive shaft. Now, interestingly, on this car, it has a central, I suppose, bearing for the drive shaft. So it's actually a two-piece drive shaft. I'm actually going to be putting a one-piece drive shaft back in the car. So yes, I mean, you know, you look at all of the floors, absolutely mint. So hopefully you guys can now see why. If that noise, by the way, is me just skidding along on my little trolley. So obviously there's the rear gearbox mount, which is all going to come out. This under tray has to come off because I've obviously got to get to the drive shaft in there. There's a fair amount. So moving forward, you know, for a Jaguar, it's not too bad. It's got a few little oil leaks here and there, but actually I'm not too worried about any of that. Bit of oil on the bottom of the car is anti-corrosion as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, if we go up, you know, you can see new front discs. You know, all the ball joints. There's obviously my new exhaust pipes that I've got up there. The front axle is all in brilliant condition. So yeah, it's absolutely immaculate under this car, and I want to keep it that way. So there you are, that's the end of the first day. Managed to get the exhaust off. Like I said, it was, yeah, it was a bit of a challenge getting those manifolds off, but you know, these things come with a, you know, these things are sent to try us. And I suppose that's what makes it quite satisfying when you manage to do it. So especially when you have to construct yourself a new spanner. And please, I've got put a pattern on this. So if you want the copy of this, then send me a comment and I'll send you a drawing. No, I won't. So anyway, if you do have any comments, please, you know, or sorry, if you do have any questions in relation to this car or what I'm doing, please put a comment in. I'll do my very best to answer them in good time, and or try and include them in some of the up and coming videos. So please do comment, and if you have already commented, thank you so much for doing so. It's great to hear your views on what I'm doing and the feedback, really. So thank you very much for all of that. I suppose now is a good time to hit that like button, smash that like button if you like this video, and please do subscribe because obviously we're at the start of this journey. So subscribe, hit the bell, and there's going to be more videos coming very soon.